This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Toronto International Film Festival. I know Keegan and Anthony went to go see
Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I'm literally looking right at it and you at the same time not able to like get that word out of my mouth. Which I think you guys liked it a lot.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. So we went to a screening of it last weekend. And, you know, I wanted to go from the time I saw the trailer. I was like, yes, this is a movie that I want to see. It's like a Netflix original, but it's also being released in theaters. They're doing a bunch of those this year. Mm-hmm. You can tell they're really like pushing for that award season stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I knew I wanted to see it. But we had gone out the night before and I was like not feeling it, waiting in line outside in Hollywood, you know. Yeah. I was like, ugh. But it was so well worth it. It was so good. It's Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson and Ray Liotta and Laura Dern. It was just wonderful. And Merritt Weaver, is her name Merritt Weaver?
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, she's fantastic in everything I ever see her in, and she is in this for a little while as well. It was so... It just gave you that feeling of like everybody has felt these things. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson were so flawless in their performances. And you know me, I'm not like the biggest Scarlett Johansson fan of all time, but she was so good at being expressive, and as was he. And it really like everyone has been through that feeling of a terrible breakup and like what that does to you. And the story really did kind of go between both of their
viewpoint
experiences. And so you had times when you really, really felt for him, but then you also really, really felt for her. And it was difficult to like choose a side, like whose side you were on, you know.
It's good that they did it that way.
That's real life.
Smart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In many cases, there isn't a one side. It's not usually one-sided. So it's nice that they really explore both sides.
Yeah, because it's a love story told through the lens of divorce. So it was cool to, after the screening, Adam Driver came out and Laura Dern and Ray Liotta and one of the other actresses came out to talk. And it was nice to hear them talk about it like that. It's a love story told through the story of their divorce. And so it's horrible in a lot of ways. It's really like raw emotionally. Like they have this huge blow up fight scene in it that like if you have ever gone through that kind of thing with a partner when your relationship is falling apart, where you're like screaming at each other, I've had that fight, you know what I mean? And so it's hard to watch, but they're so good. I will be surprised if at least Adam Driver isn't nominated for something for this.
Yeah,
awesome.
I hesitate on watching it during this time of year. I just don't think I'm in the right headspace for it just yet. I do want to see it at some point because I do feel like it is something that a lot of people go through, you know, obviously like breakups and stuff, but it's really difficult, I think, to describe how singular divorce is. And it feels... I'm not that type of person that's like, you can't understand unless you've gone through it. But it is kind of something that you really can't understand, what a complicated mix of emotions. I used to kind of roll my eyes when I would hear people say that because I'm like, yeah, we've all gone through a breakup or what have you.
Sure.
But it's and talking with my therapist and that sort of thing, it is something that is just a really, really weird mix of emotions. So I do want to really see a movie like that explores how weird it is.
I mean, and this also has the compounding difficult issue of what it's like to have a child in that situation.
Ooh, sure.
And
oh my goodness.
you know, I not to spoil too much of it, but like he wants to live in New York, she wants to live in LA, and kind of trying to figure out what you're doing and having not only a divorce, but like a contentious divorce. And it's also told through the viewpoint of the lawyers. Like Laura Dern is a lawyer and Ray Liotta is a lawyer, and having to get these like pit bulls of, they described it really well where they were talking about, whenever you see like murderers on trial, you're seeing bad people at their best. Yeah. But when you see people who are getting divorced, you're seeing good people at their worst, because they're just like going at each other because that's what you have to do to try and like win, quote unquote, you know? And Laura Dern is fucking flawless
Not surprised. She's amazing.
That movie. She has a speech in that movie about why women in particular have to be so ruthless and they have to be so perfect at the same time when they're being like scrutinized, that got the entire audience actually applauded after it, because it was so good. So I mean, I can't sing its praises enough, and I understand that maybe it'll be different when it comes out on Netflix and people are watching it at home, but
sometimes that makes it more intimate. You know what I mean? Like I've found there are things that I've rewatched on Netflix that I've seen in the theater that it's a different experience. You know, it's an experience to go and see a movie in a theater, and it's something when it's like in your home, which is the reason why I don't watch horror movies in my house, because I'm like, you
bringing that shit in,
keep the devil out of this house.
Damn right.
I will say, I don't usually cry in the theater. I cried in this movie because it was so emotionally raw. It was
I think that's why I have to avoid it. There's nothing more that I hate than a scary movie and being scared than crying. Especially in a theater.
But you know what? Something that this movie does really well. I mean, I still cried. It's still like, it's hard to watch. Yeah. But there's so much levity as well. Like, so it's Noah Bumgarner who also did, I think, The Squid and the Whale, and he's written a bunch of things. So he's really masterful at like weaving these kinds of stories together. And so like there are scenes that are almost like farcical funny, where there's like closing doors and they're like running around. Merritt Weaver is hilarious. There's this kind of like, so there's a lot of other stuff there to lighten how heavy it can like get. But yeah, I realized that I just gave them like a whole fucking like 10-minute long ad. But
I think it's getting people talking, and I think that's what this article or this Twitter thread was kind of about, which is like I said, Toronto International Film Festival asks, what are your favorite on-screen relationships? And the other is, what is your most memorable breakups on screen?
Dude, you brought up, because we just got done recording a guest spot on Boobies and Newbies.
So fun.
Fun. I love Kelly so much.
Me too. Go check out her podcast. Seriously.
Yes. Best. So we're going to be day 1 of the 12 days of Boobsmas, which is so cute. But you brought up While You Were Sleeping, and I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen that movie in forever. Yeah. And Sandy Bullock and Dude Face.
I have to ask, is it too late to change our Crazy in Love movie? Because I honestly feel like While You Were Sleeping is such a good Christmas Crazy in Love movie.
Great. And I haven't seen that movie in forever.
That movie is like, I love that movie so much.
I watched it in forever.
I forgot how much I love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is one of my favorite on-screen romances, is her and the blonde dude. Who is
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman, and that is so great.
Their relationship is so fucking cute. Sandy Bullock is able to pull off something as a romantic lead that I feel like she just has that magic quality.
Yeah, she's so like real. She's so like down to earth. She has a down to earthness about her, like a silliness.
You could be my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where she's not like one of those like ingenues or too like precious about it. Like she just feels solid. And so I loved a bunch of her rom-coms.
Absolutely.
Back in the day.
Yeah, those are great.
I guess on screen, are they being specific as far as movie or
TV?
TV as well.
Oh, we've had some good ones.
I think you can pull in TV.
Because mine, of course, of all time, is going to be Anna Green Gables. And
oh, yes.
You know who I actually love is Leslie and Ben from Parks and Rec.
Yes.
I think, actually, if we're going TV, we have to go David and Patrick.
Oh,
from Schitt's Creek. They're the fucking cutest of all time. They're so cute. I love that relationship.
Yes,
is precious.
I love Jim and Pam too.
I also do. I do love Jim and Pam. Yeah.
I'm sticking with mine. Ann and Gilbert. Like, honestly,
I wish I could think about it because that's part of what makes those movies or whatever so great. You know, I was never one for the Meg Ryan
same
rom-coms. Like,
same.
I like Meg Ryan with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, they never grabbed me the way, and maybe it was an age thing, but yeah.
I totally thought of one, and you're probably not going to agree with me, and that's okay.
Okay.
Because I know how you guys feel. But as far as movie, I really loved the movie Far and Away.
I've actually never seen that.
Me either.
Oh my God, you're kidding. It's
Who's in
so
it?
Great.
It's Nicole Kidman.
And Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Young.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Is she
totally
still
young.
rocking her curls?
Hell yeah, she is.
Totally.
She's got beautiful hair, man.
She does. Yeah.
I don't know. I really love that movie when I was a kid. Oh my God. Wait. We talked about this a bazillion times. The Cinderella story.
Ever After. I don't even know that actor's name. Like what happened to him?
Barrymore?
No, the actor.
Oh, the actor
In Ever After, the
shit,
prince.
what
no
is his
idea.
name?
He
I
like
can't
never
remember.
did anything again.
This
You
is
know,
it for
yeah,
you.
he's like, I'm done. I've hit my peak. Clearly, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna hang my hat
I
up.
definitely have to look.
Oh, and then of course we've got like, you know, the
it's
whole
Douglas
Jane
Scott.
Eyre and all that stuff that is based off book.
If we're going with
Like-
fictional, couplings, although that's not a very healthy couple. None of those books
None of
are
those.
very healthy. But you know, I actually really love Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant in Notting Hill.
Notting
Yes.
Hill.
Yeah.
They're just like, he's so fumbly, flopsy cute that I'm like, oh, well, I
Yeah.
love this.
Yeah. Oh, there's a ton of good ones. And
Yeah.
yeah, getting into the Christmas season, Love Actually.
Oh
yeah.
Oh my God. I love the porn couple in Love Actually, or the stand-in
Yes,
couple in Love
yes.
Actually. Hilarious.
Who is that? That's
Morgan,
or Martin.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Yes,
Yes.
Martin Freeman.
I wish it was Morgan Freeman.
Can you we're gonna actually someone go in and do one of those deep fake videos where you swap out the face.
for Morgan Freeman.
But what about so if we're talking on-screen breakups,
On-screen breakups.
I will say the breakup scene in Marriage Story, or not breakup scene. I guess it's just a fight scene. It's not a breakup.
Speaking of Christmas, I just wanted to go Family Stone because that is so fucking
That
awkward.
fucking movie is
But it's
so
good.
awkward, but it's so good.
I have a hard
incredibly
time
good.
watching that movie,
Really?
actually,
With
because
how
it's so
shitty
uncomfortable.
they are to her. and
They're
how
so
shitty-
mean
yeah.
to her. And then there's a brother-sister swap at the end that I'm
It makes sense, but also
if you fucked my sister, I don't want to fuck you. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm just like, I don't want to.
I know. You really have to suspend disbelief just because what's his face is so freaking charming.
Dermot Mulroney or
No,
Luke Wilson?
Luke Wilson.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Luke Wilson kind of girl. That's who I would go with
is
in
it
that pairing.
Dermot Mulroney or is it
Yeah, he's
Dylan
cute.
McDermott?
It's not
It's
Dylan
not
McDermott.
Dylan. I think
it's Dermot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like that SNL sketch where they're like,
Yeah, like, which one is it? But yeah, that movie is one that, like, you know how I feel about cringe and like sitting in uncomfortable
I
situations.
100% typically am 100% with you.
Yeah.
Keegan. I
Yeah.
am exactly the same.
And they are terrible to her, like unnecessarily. I'm like, if your family's that mean, then I'm not taking anyone home ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because like,
Absolutely.
they're awful people.
And they do end up kind of like writing it off like, well, it's because she wasn't right for him. I'm like, that's
No reason to be an absolute piece of trash to the person who gets brought. Like, you at least need to be hospitable.
yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
we're
Not how
too
this works.
Midwestern to
Clearly,
be that way.
yeah.
Like, I can't do that.
No, oh god,
Also,
it's
though-
like everything in my nature is opposed to that.
Do love that movie though. Can't help myself.
It's a classic. A lot of people really, I think it's, and I don't want to say it's polarizing because it's not like I hate it,
Right.
But I do think it's one of those that you either like love it or you don't. you know, like, but lots of people love that movie.
It's one of my holiday go-tos. I put it on around this time of year.
Yeah.
You know what cheesy ass holiday movie I watch that I know is not a good movie is The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Jude Law and Kate Winslet and Jack Black, in which Kate Winslet and Jack Black end up together.
Besides,
Thank you.
Jack Black is a romantic.
But
lead.
I kind of love it though. I loved it. I thought that he was like,
Can you imagine if you're Kate Winslet and you're like, oh, okay, like I get to be in a holiday rom-com, and she sees the casting, she's like, ooh, Jude Law's okay. So Cameron Diaz got Jude Law.
Okay.
And then
She's like, wait.
but that's kind of the point of it. And I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of would love to see more quote unquote imperfect people in
it's not even like the way that he looks. I don't know. And there's certain like actors like Jack Black and Tom Green.
Yep.
Two actors. So I'm just like, they just annoy me.
Whoa.
Totally. I agree.
I am going to stand alone here, but I would never put Tom Green and Jack Black on the same plane. Like, I think Tom Green is annoying. I think he's incredibly annoying.
Annoyingest.
I have no
Have
idea.
you not seen Nacho Libre?
I have no idea. Well, but all of those movies that were coming out at that time were like MacGruber, all of those like silly slapstick. You know, like all of that shit was happening.
But MacGruber was not like trying to, you know, racially or like infringe upon.
Welcome to 2004. Like that's what life was like back then.
That's
it's awful.
true. Yeah.
But Tropic Thunder couldn't happen now either.
Oh, girl.
like,
the amount of offensive things.
yeah, we learned real quick as a society. Like I just for your angry neighborhood feminists, we just put How I Met Your Mother under the microscope, and let me tell you, like that shit, and that was like less than a decade ago, and it's like we could not do that now.
Yeah, Barney was legit a fucking predator.
He was a predator. He openly admits at one point in that show to selling a woman for a car.
Yeah.
He's a bad person.
And then Ted is just the
also
worst.
a bad person. He's nice guy.
I don't want to put this under a microscope.
Yeah, he's nice guy.
I don't
TM.
want to rewatch it. I don't want to put it
don't,
under a microscope.
don't.
I want to leave it where it was in the back of my brain of that place when it
Absolutely.
happened and walk away from it.
And that's totally fine. Like, that's the thing about problematic faves. It's okay. Like, even my first watch of The Office right now, I'm just like, there is shit that's happening right now that I feel so uncomfortable with.
And it's crazy. It was only a few years ago.
I know.
And I realize also with that show, there's like kind of this, like, it's a satirical element where, like, you know it's bad. Like, it's supposed to be
He's
bad.
supposed to be, like, behaving badly.
Yeah. But, anyway, my point of this is to say, Tom Green, I don't even know how that man got famous. I think he's incredibly annoying. I don't think he's funny. If you feel differently, listeners, please let me know why you like Tom Green. I will never understand why Drew Barrymore married him. It makes no sense to me.
I'm
I mean,
speechless.
I like to laugh as much as the next person, but
It's not that.
It's not that.
It's not that.
Yeah.
No.
not where it's
Why
at for
why
me.
he was in Charlie's Angels, I don't know. Like,
He was?
yes.
Oh, I blocked that from my memory for sure.
And they end up together, I think.
Oh, that's
Like
right.
Drew Barrymore
Yep.
and Tom Green like end up together in that movie, and that's how they met.
So gag.
I
hate it.
Why?
I hate it.
Oh yeah. So
You
we
know
just
what I
shit all
feel-
over Tom Green.
Oh my God. Savage X Fenty show.
Oh,
Mwah.
Bye bye, Victoria's Secret.
bye.
Calm down. Yeah, calm down.
Yeah. So I believe Victoria's Secret is filing for bankruptcy. Is that right?
Oh,
I did see something
Something
about
like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Or they might
That's
not be
disappointing,
filing
actually.
for bankruptcy, but they are failing
they're-
as a business.
they're
I'm
restructuring.
not disappointed.
They're not doing their Victoria's Secret fashion show
Which I am
anymore.
not sad about
at all.
Like,
Goodbye.
at all.
I
I
don't
don't
need
want
that.
that business to fail because and Christina, you as well know this. There's so many people in our hometown that rely on that business to do well.
Yeah,
So, 'cause
I
it's
see.
a Columbus-based company, and
Yeah.
we know people.
It's
I
unfortunate.
didn't know that.
I haven't bought anything from Vicky's Secret since I was like 18. Maybe that was when it was like the height of like, oh, fancy bra. You know what I mean? For me. And now I'm like, these things, I just haven't liked them since I was
I can
18.
tell you, I know for a fact the last time I bought something from Victoria's Secrets was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and I bought 2 bras because I needed some new bras,
Yeah.
and I uncomfortable as hell.
Yeah, they're
uncomfortable
terrible.
as hell. And I ended up, honestly, I think I've worn them a handful of times and initially just finally got rid of them because they're not comfortable.
Yeah. They're definitely fashion over function, I would say. Like there are some in there, like if you're going because you just want to put on something pretty and sparkly that is going to be taken off fairly quickly,
right?
I think you can find things there for that. If you're looking for a good everyday bra, That's
not where I would go.
And honestly, listen, I'm a millennial. I graduated high school the year that the stock market or the housing crisis happened in 2008.
$60 for a bra.
I don't have the fucking. I'm going to go to Target. Okay,
Amen,
like,
girl.
Top.
I'm
up top.
absolutely not going in and spending $60 for one bra.
I'll say I think that what you're talking about, money, I think this is where the bralette came in. Bralettes were like a thing forever. And you know why? Because they were inexpensive to make. They were cute. You could do the thing. And it was just...
They're comfy.
Yep. The bralette was like a thing. And they're like, what, $12?
And you know who makes bralettes for large busted women? Rihanna does.
Yes, she does.
Because Rihanna makes something for everybody.
Yes.
And it's not coming across in a pandery way. Like,
absolutely.
All. It is
not.
just how she's made her makeup, how she's made her music, how she's making her brand is just so inclusive. And I'm such a fan.
Rihanna is the ultimate, I do what I want.
I love it.
Like, I do what I want. Like,
fucking idol.
I feel like
gorgeous.
Yes.
And she does what she fucking wants.
And I feel like when she walked in to make Fenty, when she had the idea to make the cosmetics line, I really do feel like she walked in and was like, this is what I want to do. We're coming out the gate with 45 fucking shades.
Yep.
This is what I want. Make it happen. Like, I don't feel like she went in listening to everyone tell her, well, this is how it's done and you have to do it this way. Like, she's just like, I'm doing it the way I want.
And to her credit, if everybody else is doing it this way, why start a new brand at all?
Yeah.
Why start a new brand at all? And why put your name on anything if you can't make it different, if you can't make it special and you can't make it inclusive?
And what she's done, like now, it is... I mean, I understand, like, Makeup Forever was like, what the fuck? Because they've had a lot of shades for a long time. But with the way that Rihanna did it, it is now... Yeah, people are calling out brands if they do not have a bunch of shades when they come out. It's now standard for brands to come out with like 40 fucking shades whenever they release a new complexion product. And like that's, you know, as someone who if you look at pictures of me in like middle school and I even went but it's different. It's different for people who have brown skin. Like it is different because growing up, there were a million shades of various undertones of white. And there wasn't a lot. You got up into caramel and you're like, you can be caramel, toffee, mocha, or like ebony. Espresso and ebony. Yeah, like that was like what you had.
4 choices.
And it's always like pink.
And it didn't matter what your undertone was. I will show you. The first time I was allowed to wear makeup was my 13th birthday. My mom took me to the Estee Lauder makeup counter because that's where she bought her makeup. I felt so beautiful. But looking now, and we bought the foundation, we bought all the stuff. My makeup was...
Oh, no.
I have to see this
the
picture.
flashback. I think I have it at home, actually.
That's amazing.
I think I have some on my phone, too. It was so white that she put me in. It was so pale because she didn't know what to do. And there honestly weren't that many options for people of darker skin tones. So what Rihanna is doing is so awesome. And I love seeing it. And I love the fashion show where she had people of all sizes. I
love it.
Of all abilities.
Yep.
It was just great.
Yeah. That's what we need to see more of.
It's the future. The future is now.
The future is now. Yeah.
The thing that you're saying, though, about is Makeup Forever, I think that, you know, like them kind of coming out and be like, wait, but we've been here. I think the problem with that is that not a lot of people were familiar with Makeup Forever. Makeup Forever was really more of a brand that was meant for makeup artists.
Until very recently,
and they catered toward makeup artists. So, yeah, you can't be that upset when you really went the direction of going, like, we're going to speak to the artist. We're going to speak to this group. And then when the rest of the group didn't know, you're like, that's who you were gearing yourself towards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. I mean, and of
And
course,
Fenty was about everyone.
yeah, and of course, the beauty industry has come a long way since
Sure.
since Makeup Forever started, and now everyone wants to do everything, and they want to get all the high end stuff, and you can get it all in Sephora, and like I get that, but I mean, still, I think it was just the way that just something about the way that Fenty came out that everyone lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
And rightly so. Like, it was great.
Her website is great too. I signed up and everything like that. And the way that they, kind of tailor like the products to you, that like you fill out a bunch of questions, what your body type is, like what are things that you like? Are you like a sexy person? Are you more subdued? Are you fiery? Like,
I love that.
And then they're like recommending, they're like, try this, try that. And it's just really smart. I think she's a really
makes, like,
smart businesswoman.
Experiential.
Yeah.
Experiential?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we know what you're saying. It's an
Experience-based?
experience. Yeah, it's an experience. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I'm okay with saying goodbye to the Victoria's Secret fashion show and hello, Savage X Fenty.
Yeah.
Here for it.
Yeah.
Here. Well, this episode comes out the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So for Fuck, Marry, Kill, should we theme it?
Yes.
Yes.
So to follow up with last year's theme, where we fucked, marry, killed our favorite Thanksgiving foods, I thought, what if we just do pies this time?
Oh, like desserts.
Just
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
specifically pies.
pie. I mean, like whatever.
I like
You can do
pies.
whatever. But
Thanksgiving's about pie. Yeah.
usually
about
it's a
pie.
pie centered.
Yeah. It's not like Christmas,
event.
which is multi.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the specific.
So growing up, I was always an apple pie fanatic, but in recent years, because Anthony loves it so much, I've been making pecan pies, and that's what I've been taking with me to our group Friendsgiving. So I think I'm going to pick a pecan pie.
I'm going to say that Friendsgiving is maybe one of my favorite times.
Oh,
of the
it's
year.
best. It's
Oh,
the
it's-
best.
I love it. It is. I've never felt so like
Grateful.
grossly grateful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
beyond. It's really the most incredible. I want everybody to join
It's
us.
one of
I
my
wish-
favorite days
It
of
really
the year.
is.
It
Absolutely.
is, and this year we have a new attendee.
I cannot wait to smell that
Oh
baby
my god!
head.
So
I'm gonna
our
smell that baby head
friend,
on Monday. I can't wait.
our friend Vanessa, hi Vanessa, and Joe just had a little baby, and Oscar, and I met him.
Baby's name
Oh my god, he's so tiny.
And he knows our voice because he's been listening
And
to us.
that's exactly right. I was like, he is so comfortable and chill and quiet. And I was like, I wonder if it's because I'm sitting here holding him. I held him like pretty much the whole time I was there, unless he was eating. And I was like, he is so chill. He's just sleeping the whole time. He's not fussy at all. And I was like, I wonder if it's because he knows us already. He's listened. She's listened to the podcast throughout her entire pregnancy, so he's heard our voices the whole time. So
I love it.
It's so precious. I love Friendsgiving. I'm so excited.
All right. So you pick pecan.
Yes.
Sorry. I didn't mean to side.
Are you guys
track us.
pecan or pecan?
I
Pecan.
just said pecan, so I'm assuming I'm pecan.
Pecan.
Yeah.
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 Is
Okay.
that like a
I don't want
tomato
to overthink
tomato?
it. Yeah.
Kind
Some
of thing?
some people say pecan. Yes.
I definitely don't.
Those are probably people that say tomato, and like those people are
Tomato.
just wrong.
Oh, this is what tomato. Okay. So like you, when I was younger, I had a specific pie that was my go-to, and that used to be the pumpkin pie. But as I've aged, older and wiser, I'm now apple pie, which is funny because it's a little different from you.
Yeah, I mean-
love a good Dutch apple pie. Or
I'll
like
still
a
take an
cin-
apple
oh,
pie any day.
I love
yeah,
apple pie. Okay,
me too.
That's mine.
I mean, I feel like I gotta stand the pumpkin pie.
Okay.
That's the classic.
That
It
is the
go-to.
holiday classic.
I will say, my mom makes this peanut butter pie.
Oh shit!
That's more around Christmas though. But
Okay.
yeah, it's got that like Oreo cookie crust, and then
Oh,
this
damn.
like peanut butter whipped topping confection, and then ganache and
Delicious.
Oh my god.
You know what I made one year for Thanksgiving that was actually really good was I made a butter pecan cheesecake with a shortbread crust.
Stop it.
Mwah. It was so good. Oh, okay, but we're
Okay,
gonna go.
We should never do this hungry. We
Honestly,
gotta
I'm
stop
like
doing
hungry.
this.
So we're gonna go pecan, apple, pumpkin.
Yep.
Okay.
I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
You marry a pumpkin pie.
Okay.
It's solid. It's going to be there for you. everyone likes it. Like you're bringing it to the friend group and everyone's like, pumpkin's here. Oh, pumpkin's great. Pumpkin.
Pumpkin?
We like pumpkin. I don't have anything bad to say.
Pumpkin never really is rude.
Pumpkin is not rude. He's not loud or
It's dependable.
It's dependable. Mm-hmm. Now you fuck pecan pie. You fuck it. You fuck it good.
Wow.
It's thick.
It's thick.
It's syrupy.
Sultry. Yeah.
It's sultry. It is the freaking R&B of the pie group.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is the perfect way to put it. Like
It is the Isley Brothers of pie.
it's talking to you like Barry fucking White.
It's like,
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
oh my God.
Okay.
And then I'm sorry, I cannot kill Apple though.
I know.
I cannot kill it.
This
Are
is
you going
your
to bring
rule.
friend back?
I'm gonna bring friend back.
Oh,
because
now.
apple pie
Next time,
is
Keegan?
the one that you hold hands with. Apple pie will like hold you when you cry,
That's right.
and it's like
He's your friend.
He brought ice cream.
He's your friend.
He brought ice cream.
He is
He
your
did.
friend.
He goes like leave diving with you. He's
yeah.
a fall activity guy.
He
is
is
your fall
ducky.
friend.
He's the ducky of the pies.
Aw.
Well, I know you just said all those wonderful things
Yeah.
about pumpkin pie.
Oh no,
That's okay.
I am the weirdo who doesn't really like pumpkin pie.
oh no. So you secretly don't like my husband?
Wow.
You're
like it's fine.
I meet
it's
up
cool.
with Cassie without you, and I'm just like, well, how do you really feel about pumpkin? Do you?
I mean, I guess
Just
it's
the
okay,
two-
but
between the two of us.
But
Just
of our
the two
group,
of
he's
us.
probably the serial killer.
oh
Right?
no.
Like, if we had
oh no.
No. I mean, I understand the appeal of pumpkin pie. I love other pumpkin things. Like I'll make a pumpkin bread, a pumpkin bar with some like cream cheese frosting.
Oh, yum.
I will do all of that. But I think it's something about the texture of pumpkin pie that
You're not a flan fan either.
No, I don't like flan. There's something about that texture, that like
Creme
jiggly
brulee.
texture, which is funny because I do like pecan pie, but that there's something about that I don't love. So I'm so sorry. Are we friending or are we killing?
We're friending.
Okay.
She changed the rules back, and we're going to remember this for the future, Christina.
Yeah, whenever you don't let me friend Keith Morrison, I'm going to be
Okay.
like, what the fuck?
No, I think for people it still stands. I'm like,
Oh,
food.
Why do you get to make the rules?
Wow.
Food though, that's a whole nother level. I
I'm-
can't throw out food. I'm too Midwesterner to kill food.
I'm holding this.
No waste. Waste
I'm
not
holding
one.
it for the perfect
A
time.
little bit bitter.
When it's too
Cassie has her
difficult.
arms
I am.
crossed. She is unhappy.
I am offended.
But okay, so fine, whatever, fine. I will go ahead and friend pumpkin
It
pie.
doesn't sound like you want to be friends with him.
Wow. Wow.
To be, I'm really indifferent. I'm ambivalent towards pumpkin.
That's worse
the
than
worst.
hate.
It's worse.
So I kind of
Your boyfriend is middle class fancy.
I wanna fuck your husband's hot brother pumpkin bar.
Ooh.
Okay. Yes.
I want to fuck
I
his
secret-
brother pumpkin bread.
Yeah, or same. Yeah.
Comes from a real hot family.
A real hot family, and he's fine. He's nice. He's dependable.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have that fire, right? So,
He ain't spicy.
I'll just put pumpkin in the corner, and I'm with you. I am gonna fuck a pecan pie because you can't have too much of it. It's like the kind of pie. It's like you need one good hefty slice of it, and then that's your calorie intake for the entire day.
Oh yeah.
Because I have made it now several times, and I'm like, it's all sugar. It is sugar and corn
Sugar
syrup.
nuts.
Yeah, it's sugar, nuts.
nuts.
It's absolutely sugar.
That's what I
nuts.
call him too. Hey, sugar nuts.
Oh yeah, that's what he's in your phone as
Sugar nuts.
Yeah, with a picture of a pecan pie. As the, like, I love
need
it.
to date somebody so I could call them sugar nuts now.
So yeah, I'm gonna fuck a pecan pie, and then for me, apple. I think apple is my pumpkin. Like apple for me was the old standby. If I could have apple pie anytime, and it was comfortable, it was comforting to me, and that's who you want to go home to.
Can I ask, are you regular apple pie or Dutch?
Dutch.
I'm both.
Sprickens the Dutch.
To be honest,
I
I'm
love
both.
That. I love that crumble on top.
I love a good
goddamn crumble.
I love a good flaky crust too, though. So I mean, I honestly, I'll go either way. I go both ways with the
that's what
apple.
that's what she said. So,
Yeah.
She's really the unicorn of apple pies.
I love apple pie any way you want to give it to me.
Ew.
Any way you want to give it to me, I'll take it. And
Damn.
that's
hot.
That's who you want to, fucking ride or die with.
There you go.
So I'm going to marry an apple.
I'm gonna keep it spicy as well because mine is different from both of yours.
Oh, shit.
There we go.
Shit, I love
right.
it when we're all different.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with my good friend pecan pie. Well, friends, but I gotta be honest with you. You know how I feel about sweet boys, and it's just too
It is sweet
for me. I don't need that soft ass sweet shit in the bedroom. I not so much.
He's going to run you a bath.
You need a little spicier.
I don't want a bath run for me.
Of the three of them, it is the least spicy. It doesn't have cinnamon in it.
Nope.
It's a sweet, sugary bay.
It's just sweet nuts. And I do have him in my phone as sweet nuts. And he is the person I'll call if I break up with like a boyfriend or like I've had a bad day at work. Good old sweet nuts is going to be there for me.
Yeah.
Pat me on the back, bringing me a glass of wine. Too sweet for me to fuck or marry.
Got it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I love your logic.
Okay. I have a different view of pumpkin pie than Christina and Keegan. Okay.
You're going to fuck a pumpkin pie.
I am going to fuck a pumpkin pie. Now here's why.
Okay.
Because pumpkin pie is unfucking-assuming. He looks middle class fancy on the outside, but once you dig in, he's got a big fucking dick. He got that big, spicy dick energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, I just thought you were going to be, because you just look.
You look like
And-
pumpkin pie.
And then,
you know what?
You put whipped cream on top, and I was like, God damn.
Yep.
You know what pumpkin pie is? Pumpkin pie is that house on Zillow that you're scrolling and everything looks fucking normal, and then boom,
there it
like
is.
sex dungeon, and you're like,
Sex room.
whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yes.
Wow, woo, wee,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be me and Spice Pumpkin Man.
Got it.
And I am gonna marry apple pie. And here's why. Apple pie, agreed. He's homey. He feels comfortable. He's a hug. He could be your friend. He could be a good lover. He's an all around there for
He's
you.
gonna listen to your problems.
He is.
I feel that.
But he's also, just like pumpkin, got a surprising amount of spice inside.
Yes.
Like, and it's not just sugar
You got
sweet.
fucking nutmeg in there.
He's
There's
not
an
gonna lie.
allspice.
He's not going to lie to you about things. He's going to tell it to you straight. He's going to give it to you straight. And there may
I
be a
love
little
this.
edge to it, but he's going to
But
come in
he's
strong.
but he's made of fruit.
He's
made of fruit.
He's
It's
soft.
good for you.
He's soft and he's good for you, and he's gonna tell you when you're being
That's right.
ridiculous.
He's going to call you on the floor
Yeah.
when need be. With that spice in
Yes.
there, he's going to call you on the floor if need be.
I love that we all have different reasoning. It makes me feel like if we were all single and we were all in the dating market going out.
Oh, we're not picking
we're
the
not
same
picking the
guys.
same
No,
guys.
no. Mm-mm.
We would be awesome wing women
Yeah.
for each other.
Oh yeah.
And we're awesome wing women for the pie. So
Yeah.
I feel very
Here for it.
grateful.
I love it when we do like not real people. Like
I
I love it
know.
when we do characters
Yeah.
or like
I'm waiting for presidents
I
to
like-
come around
Oh,
again.
yes.
I like making stories about how they would be.
Inanimate objects.
And you know what? It makes sense though. I don't think anybody could argue with our logic.
I don't think so either.
No,
Please.
no, come at us.
Cut at us. I dare you.
No, I want to know. All the worsties. Someone start a thread. FMK. Thanksgiving pie.
There it is.
There you go.
Also willing to take other pie suggestions.
Yeah, and it
Right.
has to say pie. We're not going any other dessert.
Yeah, we're not
Don't
branching out
don't
into
go
a cobbler. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, we're
sticking.
cobbler.
You know, there has to be a bottom crust
Yep.
to it.
No soggy bottoms here.
Yeah, no soggy bottoms.
All right, guys. You want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yes. And we're back. All right, Cass, you want to get us started with
All right.
stories?
So, okay. I don't want to give anything away with it, so I'm just going to go right into it.
Nice.
All right. I was working on a political campaign in Colorado. When most people think of Colorado, they think of Denver, but this was a small desert town near the Utah border. I feel like you may have been there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably driving through. Mm-hmm.
I saw this single dad on Tinder. I don't want kids, but I'm feeling spontaneous. And I'm like, fuck it. This guy is cute and his kid is like 5. So it's going to like use the bathroom by itself, so I guess
There you go.
I can deal.
I don't know, guys. 5 is a
5's a great age.
that's a mischievous age, though. I don't want to jump in as a step parent at that.
That's how Dylan was when I met Chris. I think it's a great age.
Oh, really?
Because they're still malleable to the idea of inviting new people into their
Oh,
lives.
that's
And
a good
if
point.
something were to take root, it's not like an 11-year-old who's like, "Fuck you, you're not my mom."
That's also true.
true.
Okay, you guys make good points.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Win
mean,
me
look
over.
at Dylan and Chris's relationship. I mean, perfect example. Anyway, so boop boop boo. We went on our first date and had an amazing time. We were at this like big spot in town for a bluegrass concert, and I ended up meeting a lot of his high school friends. His mom even walked in, but it wasn't like awkward at all. We were just enjoying ourselves. He was a really fun and sweet country guy with good values. He seemed really mature and like he had his shit together. Total husband material.
Sounds like a sugar nuts.
Oh, really?
Total sugar nuts. If that's not the name of this episode.
Sugar nuts. I'm going to be thinking that as I'm making the pecan pie for Thanksgiving. I'm just like stirring it. Sugar nuts.
So a few days later, I go to his house to watch a movie. It started badly. As soon as I got there, he had already downed 3/4 a bottle of whiskey.
Whoa. That is
no.
too much whiskey.
That's a lot of whiskey.
Oh
Two?
man.
How much?
3/4.
Oh, God, no.
It's like somebody that has a great job interview and they show up the first day of work and they're just terrible.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're like, wow, you were able to hold that in for the job interview,
Yep. And the end.
mask the crazy, and then you got the job and you
Here we
down
are.
to
I'm just having trouble comprehending that much
Whiskey.
whiskey.
To be able to take that much whiskey.
Your body is acclimated to it if you're
yeah.
able to get that much down that quickly.
I've had half bottle nights and they get a little wild.
Yeah.
Extra
3/4 of a bottle,
No.
and I'd be like,
I'd be on the floor.
blackout.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be 3 a.m. White Castle.
Yes, yes.
Parking lot.
Absolutely. And that I can feel the headache.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my parents had gotten divorced. And when my parents would date, we would get close to their new partner, and if it didn't work out, we were sad. So I told him in advance I didn't want to meet his kid unless we were official. And he's like, "Oh, come say hi." And I'm like, "Really? I'm not comfortable doing that." He's like, "Oh, it's fine. He's asleep."
Pause.
Why would you go say hi to an asleep child?
Pause on so many respects right now.
I know.
Unpack it.
I assumed that the kid was not there if he is
Inviting someone over
when he's
and
3/4
drinking.
of a bottle of whiskey down. Like, what would you do in an emergency if you had a 5-year-old and you had drank that much whiskey?
You can't drive him to the hospital, that's for
No.
sure.
Wow. Okie dokie.
Well, this lady's coming over, so
Yeah, it's fine.
He'll be
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
I declined, but decided to stick it out and stick around. So I'm super uncomfortable, and we're sitting on the couch. Then he's like, "Come here, I have to show you something." For context, he owns an RV manufacturing company or some shit like that. He opens the door to his spare bedroom to show me a collection of mechanical parts assembled as homemade murder weapons.
I just got chills.
I was-
I have chills. I have goosebumps.
I was going to
Look,
make a joke about him being a murderer. I didn't expect it to go this way. Okie
Oh my
dokie.
God.
There
Oh my
were
God.
at least 15 giant sharp objects on sticks in some fashion.
And again, you have a
6 foot
5-year-old in the house.
Yes. A 6-foot flogger with 15 metal chains as thick as your forearms, a 75-pound club covered in spikes.
Well, you're
The
going to die.
Human pizza cutter,
No.
literally a giant spiky wheel of blades on a giant stick,
oh
etc.
my God.
You're going to die. How are you writing to us from the afterlife?
I mean, so yeah, I ran out of there as fast as I could, and that was the worst date I've ever been on.
Why the
There was
Absolutely.
no third date, and we did not hook up.
Why would you show that to someone?
I'm like you, Keegan. How are you writing us from the afterlife? Because that is
How did you escape this situation? Like, what kind of person
Makes a
FBI,
human
if you're listening.
pizza cutter.
I
Oh my God.
for why?
We're gonna be doing a crazy in love about
Yeah.
that dude
Uh,
for reals.
And again, you have that is so unsafe. for a small child to
layers.
be around.
It's
all of this is bad. Okay. Anyway.
so much
my
to unpack
God.
on that story.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Ooh, shivers.
I don't even want to accidentally run into him because it sounds like a small town. Well, like, fuck dating. Like, I'm so nervous.
Can you?
Yeah, I'm going to relocate.
You're nervous. I'm nervous. I go on first dates all the time, and now I have to know that there's somebody out there that makes human motherfucking pizza cutters. That is the most insane thing,
and is so unaware
Yeah.
that they are willing to show them to you immediately
my
upon
God.
arrival to their abode. No, thank you.
Chills. Oh, all right. Well, mine was also sent via email. She says, when I was a freshman in high school, a senior asked me out on a date.
Ooh,
Fancy. I wasn't super into him, but he was nice to me, and I was not the badass, confident woman I am today. I need to describe him real quick. He had transition eyeglasses.
Oh,
she puts in parentheses, kind of creepy. I'm with her. I cannot with transition eyeglasses.
I loathe transition.
What year is this?
Glasses.
And I'm sorry. Have you met anybody under the age of like 40 who has transition? If you're in high school and you have transition lenses, there's a story. Your home life is complicated.
Listen to the rest of this description. He also had a high and tight military style haircut and only wore army fatigues to school every day.
Oh no.
You in danger, girl.
Oh,
yes.
That is scary to me, actually.
He wanted to pick the movie and the place we're going to eat, which I agreed to. We decided he would pick me up at my house. The day of the date came.
300.
Oh my God.
And to my surprise, when he pulled up to my house, he was in the passenger seat of the car with his mom driving. I thought it was weird, but maybe she was just going to drop us off at the movie.
And you're
Isn't
a
that
freshman
the
in
only
high school.
reason you date a senior is because they have their own car,
Right.
And you
Yeah.
don't have to be around parents.
That's
right.
true.
I mean, really.
'Cause I was going to say, if you're a freshman in high school, you're probably still used to parents driving you places. So
Right.
it might not be as like...
But that's why you date seniors. And this is, So she was coming along with us. When we got inside, he sent his mom and I to the counter to get snacks while he got the movie tickets. I still wasn't sure what movie we were going to see. I remember I wanted to see The Ring too. Apparently, it was the movie his mom wanted to see, Miss Congeniality too. Sandy Bullock's a treasure.
I'll see a Sandy Bullock joint any day. Yeah.
But sounds good to me, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know where the problem is.
When we got into the theater, she sat in between us.
Oh my God.
Okay.
None of us talked the entire time because it was so awkward.
This isn't a date. I don't know what this is, but
so
it's not
awkward.
a date. Like, if you're not even sitting next to the person, like, what? Why even ask anyone out?
I have my stuff, like, you know how I get when I get nervous that I start to get gas because I swallow air. This is
You're
how
just
I feel right
farting
now.
your way through Miss Congeniality too. Just
making that movie
Popcorn
theater
stinks.
seat real warm. After the movie, I really just wanted to go home, but they insisted that they take me out to eat for dinner. Again, his mom picked the place, and then she sat on my side of the booth.
Applebee's.
100. You are getting some half-priced apps up in this bitch immediately.
Eventually, they took me home, and his mom said she hopes to see me again. Weird.
Whoa.
And
You went on a date with his mom.
Yep.
And he walked me to my front porch and tried to kiss me, but I swerved and gave him a hug instead. I tried to avoid him after that, but it's hard to do in a small town. After that weird 3-way date with his mom, he told everyone I was his girlfriend, and I had to quash those rumors real quick. Thankfully, he graduated a few months after that, and I never thought about him again. So, fast forward 13
damn it.
years later.
I fucking love whenever they give an epilogue to
I know.
this story.
It's the best. I stopped by a locksmith one day to get keys made for work, and guess who's working behind the counter?
You're going somewhere else to get your keys made now because he will make a copy for himself. Goodbye.
Yep.
Uh-uh.
And his mom.
Yes, and his mom. Oh, God.
He looked exactly the same down to the creepy glasses, so I immediately recognized him.
So now he has a choice in eyewear, and he's still choosing
Transition
lenses.
I stared at the floor, hoping he wouldn't recognize me, but he did. He was flirting with me while I had the keys made, aka trying to scream at me over the sound of the key cutter. I was so annoyed because I had like 100 copies to make and it took forever. I had to get colored caps for the keys to make them easier to ID, and he insists on taking the time to put them on for me. I think he was just holding me hostage.
Of course.
I went to pay with my company card and he goes, "Here's a discount for you," and takes 50% off the total.
I mean, hey, I'll take that, though.
As I'm signing the receipt, he decides that's his last shot and asks me out. So I joke with him and I say, "Would your mom come with us this time?"
Bold, sick, bold move.
Burn. Shit.
Girl, you are savage.
Brave,
I
actually.
love it. And she goes, and then I laugh. And he laughs but gets really red in the face. So then I say, "Actually, I'm married." So I was doing some dirty work that day. I didn't even have my ring on, and he didn't even believe me. Whatever, dude. Thanks for the free keys. See you never.
Oh my God. We stand an icon,
I
honestly.
know. Would your mom come with us this time?
Damn.
Spicy.
See.
Okay, so I have a holiday story for you guys.
Yes.
Hey, ladies. First off, y'all are amazing, and I love listening to your podcast.
Aww.
A friend of mine told me about it a couple months ago, and it's really made my bus commute to work much more enjoyable and incredibly awkward when I start giggling and have to bite the inside of my cheek to keep from making a scene.
Yes.
I love that.
I love it.
I was catching up on a small backlog of episodes and heard you mention wanting holiday stories, so I figured why not submit my own. It's my fall semester of my senior year of college, and I start dating this guy who lives a ways away. He was also a senior, although in high school. He was 18 when we started seeing each other, though. Not my proudest moment since I was 21.
That's
It's not terrible.
too bad.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm less like 18, 21 and more like he's high school.
Yeah.
High school, college is more. Anyways, I live on the other side of the country from my family and didn't go home for Thanksgiving because it didn't make sense financially since I usually went home for Christmas.
Here you go.
So, I mean, we all feel that. It's
Yeah.
like you don't want to go home twice in a month. That shit is so expensive. So I told my boyfriend this and that I usually did a Friendsgiving with some other people who lived too far away to go home, and we usually had a good time. Well, he let it slip that his mother that I didn't go home, and she was not having any of that. So I got a text from him one night that says, "My mom wants you to come over to our house for Thanksgiving." We had been dating for maybe a month at this point, and I tried to talk my way out of it, but she wasn't having it. Moms, am I right?
Yeah.
That was my own parenthetical, but I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving anymore since I've been vegetarian since I was in high school. It's nice to see everyone, and let's be honest, the best part of that dinner is the side dishes, so I never feel bad about taking as much as I want, but it's not my favorite holiday since I usually feel weird turning down dishes my family spent time making.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, totally. You don't
Yeah.
want to feel like a trouble, you know? His family didn't know this since I try not to make a big deal out of my self-imposed dietary restrictions. So he mentioned something to his mom and she was willing to accommodate me and said that most of the sides would be meat-free.
Dude, this is the biggest difference between like a Midwest or East Coast vegetarian vegan / West Coast vegetarian vegan. Where we don't want to put anyone out for our own, dietary choices versus like a West Coast vegan who's like, you will motherfucking accommodate. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, luckily, like, the people who we're friends with who are vegans know, first of all, we just accommodate anyway because we're all Midwesterners who are living on the West Coast and that's what we do. But then also, they'll bring their own shit to eat as well. Yeah. Like, that's kind of the thing you have to do in these scenarios. I gritted my teeth and agreed to go, thinking it would be a small family thing. I take the hour-long ferry ride to his place. You got on a motherfucking ferry for this.
Getting on a boat for strangers.
For a side of green beans.
Yeah.
You know. I take the hour-long and then 30-minute drive from the ferry to his place. So you had to drive your car onto a ferry.
And then further drive.
No.
Yeah. Have you ever done that before?
No.
It's so freaky.
Yeah.
I don't
We
like
did that
it.
going to Martha's Vineyard once, and it was, I don't know, it creeped me out.
I've never lived in a place that had ferries like around, so it was not like a normal like thing for me to do. Like seriously, because there's that episode of Sex and the City where she dates the guy who lives somewhere where she has to like ferry to and from.
I don't like that.
And I'm like, that seems, I don't want to have to board a boat. I don't want to have to get on water to go see you.
Listen, I swipe left on people that live in Highland Park.
Right.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
It's just,
Geographically,
You're like 9 miles is too far.
It's
If I
too
have
far.
to take
It's an hour, though.
hour on a boat,
No.
absolutely not. So he says 30-minute drive from the ferry to his place, sweating nervously the entire time. I had never met a boyfriend's family and had them know I was the boyfriend. Big ups to living in the South. Okay, so he's Southern. That's why he won't disclose his dietary restrictions.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Because, you're from the South where meat is king.
It's king.
Yeah.
So it's a boyfriend situation. So I get his nervousness as well.
Aw.
We were just talking about on Boobies and Newbies about how when you have to come out, it's kind of like a consistent thing that you feel like you have to do
Over and over.
over and over. Like
Yeah.
every time you meet a new person's family and like things like that as well. So I get it.
And I can't wait until like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's like not a thing.
Yeah.
We pull into his drive and there's a lot of cars there. Like way more than I thought there would be.
Oh, no.
This is when he tells me it's not really a small gathering this year like it usually is.
Okay, I should have known that beforehand.
I just hour and a half trip to get here. You couldn't send a text?
Yeah.
No, I don't like not knowing what to expect.
No.
I was being graced with the opportunity to meet his mother, her new boyfriend, his dad, and his new wife, his 2 older sisters and their significant others, his
got
younger
chills.
half-brother, who was 3 at the time, 2 aunts, and a grandparent in one fell swoop.
Okay, my stomach is full of air.
That is too many.
Got chills.
You should meet the immediate family first in a more like comfortable setting.
And well after a month of
Wow.
dating,
Yes.
too. I'm sorry.
This is too much. You're meeting aunts and grandparents right now?
Yeah.
No.
You're like, we've been on like 4 or 5 dates. That's it. So,
I wanted to leave and refused to let him go more than 5 feet from me. That's what I do. I'm fucking tethered to you if I'm in a
Goddamn
situation like this. Yeah. You might as well get one of those like child leashes.
Yep.
Like I'm not going anywhere. It was awkward at first, but I gradually eased into things, but never fully relaxed. We started serving food and I look around at what they had. Everything, and I mean everything, had some form of meat in it, usually bacon. His mom realized what had happened, and since everyone was cooking that day, it wasn't communicated that I don't eat meat. I played it off as no big deal. I can pick out the pieces, and a couple of small pieces won't cause me too much trouble. I was wrong on that end.
Yep.
I had been it had been 5 years from this point that I hadn't eaten meat and my poor stomach did not know what was going on. About halfway through a baked potato, which also pause. It's motherfucking Thanksgiving. I better be getting mashed potatoes.
Thank you.
There's only one way to do a Thanksgiving potato,
And that's mashed.
and it is mashed.
hash brown casserole is pretty
Oh,
good, too.
awesome. Sorry.
But we also, I have hash brown casserole with mashed potatoes.
Yes, you
I
are
want
right.
all the potatoes.
A hash brown casserole. A casserole in general is fine
You
on
did it
Thanksgiving.
dairy free last year too, didn't you?
No.
Oh, wait. Who did something that you would normally do?
I did mashed potato. I did dairy free mashed
That's
potatoes.
what it was.
I did 2 different potatoes, ones with dairy and dairy free, and I did hash brown casserole.
Hell yeah.
That hash brown casserole is so good that
Dude, it is the dariest.
I know.
There's like sour cream in that bitch.
know.
Sour cream, butter,
God, we're fucking
a couple
hungry.
different types of cheeses.
Okay, he says, about halfway through a baked potato, I start to feel sick and had to excuse myself. I spent the rest of the afternoon running back and forth to the restroom because I couldn't keep anything in my system. I don't know if any of you have given up meat for a prolonged period and then went back. If you don't do it right, you can wreck your system. And unfortunately, nothing stays in for very long and comes shooting out the back door.
Yep.
I was already anxious, and that wasn't helping matters either. It was clear to everyone what was happening, and I couldn't bring myself to ask my partner to take me back to the ferry so I could die in the privacy of my dorm room. Also, shitting in someone else's house.
Oh, come
never
on.
a pleasant experience.
Come on.
Ever. And if you are at a family function where there's probably only a couple of bathrooms anyway,
Yep.
there's a shit ton of people there, and they know what's happening. They
do.
know.
They do.
You keep running back and forth. You don't know where the matches are because it's not your bathroom.
Right. You just know Aunt Linda's going to come in after you and just be like, know what,
You blew
what
it
went down.
up. Yeah.
Yep.
So I sat there starving on Thanksgiving because I couldn't keep anything in my stomach, surrounded by strangers dying inside because they all knew what I was doing.
Oh.
This was easily the worst holiday of my life to date. We didn't last as he broke up with me before heading off to college, stating he didn't want to be in a relationship his freshman year so he could focus. Focus on dick. Yeah, yeah, exactly. This obviously did great things for my self-esteem. Oh, honey. Fun follow-up. I woke up to Facebook friend request from him a few years later. He's engaged and planning a wedding to someone new, someone he met his freshman year of college.
Oh my God.
Love you ladies and everything you do. Hope you can make it up the coast to Seattle one day. Would love to see you at a live show, Matthew.
Oh,
Yay! That's so sweet.
I love that.
I love it too.
Wild ass story. It's so
Oh my
funny.
God. It's just my nightmare. Like, I don't like being in uncomfortable situations with strangers. I don't like having to bathroom problems in someone else's house.
I know.
Ugh.
We just
It's
like
layers of
opened
awkward, for
opened
sure.
the episode 2 with Family Stone or whatever. It's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
anytime you're like just like
You're
meeting the
outnumbered.
family.
You're outnumbered.
You're outnumbered.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, and having to shit in that situation?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
What's up, everybody? Okay, do you guys know that even if we all ate the same and exercised the same, that we would all still look completely different? I'm Lacey Green. I'm a super trainer with Body. That's BODI.com. I'm telling you, this is something that you need in your life. The app isn't just about having a perfect body, because what is that anyway? It's about what we call health esteem. Feeling good about yourself right now, just as you are, as you work on the person you are becoming. Using Body's tools to find your version of happy and healthy. Body isn't just some software. It's people. It's trainers, nutrition, and mindset experts, and a community of other people just like you and me. And they even have my program for beginners only, which you have to try even if you've never worked out a day in your life. I'll get you off the couch and started on day 1, finding the joy and dropping the judgment. And don't take my word for it. You can try it for free right now for 14 days at body.com. That's body with an I.com. Let's get up, get moving, and feel good. Whoop, whoop.
All right. So this week, for some reason, I was all over the place trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my Crazy in Love.
Sometimes it's hard.
It is. It's funny because I think that I've had so much fun doing like historical. And,
I know. And I almost texted you that you should have done like Pocahontas.
Oh, I mean, that's a really good one for Thanksgiving. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't dive in enough. I was like, is it Crazy in Love though? I didn't think so, but yeah.
It's funny because I decided I wanted to go back to Crazy in Love.
Yeah.
Bring out a
wanted to-
classic.
Yeah, I want to bring back, and it is a classic. This is quintessential a Crazy in Love story.
Nice.
I'm going to do the story of Rebecca Schaeffer.
Yes.
Yay.
Good one.
Yeah.
And I'd actually brought it up because there was a couple I was thinking, and I'm like, did we do this already? And I knew that we didn't do this one.
We've talked about
But
it
we've talked about
many
doing
times.
it,
Yeah.
right. And so Keegan led me to the case file on it,
which is a great
yeah. He had a
episode.
lot of good information, a lot of information from the case file episode, and then I also watched a 2020 called Your Biggest Fan, which was very difficult to get because it's YouTube and it's cut into like 5 different episodes. So it was like, you have
Dude,
to
I
find
haven't
one,
seen
you
a
have to find the next one.
2020 in forever.
A hot minute.
Right.
I watched them recently because they're on demand on my like Spectrum, and I was like, oh, I want to watch something like, true crimey.
Yeah.
But I will say I prefer a Dateline
Same.
Yeah.
to a 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020 is fine.
It's good.
just-
Yeah.
I as well. 2020 or Dateline, and then maybe 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So at any rate, okay, here we go. So this is the story of Rebecca Schaeffer. Also got some information from Wikipedia too. I just want to cite all my sources.
Word.
That's kind of where it was at. All right. 1967, Rebecca Schaeffer is born in Eugene, Oregon. And she is an adored only child. She grew up riding horses, loved her life, had a beautiful home life, with her family. She grew up as a devoutly Jewish family and was pretty into her religion, and at one point even had aspirations of becoming a rabbi. So she was very, it's just a cute all-American story.
Yeah.
You know, only child, just very happy household. They ended up the family moved to Portland around 1980, when she was 14 years old. And at the time, apparently her hairdresser had suggested meeting another one of their clients, who happened to be Nanette Troutman. She was a modeling agent. Noticing that she's got these gorgeous looks. She's 14 years old. She's young and fresh.
She's very classically like all American print model. Like that's what she looked like. She looked like an 80s print model. Like absolutely.
100%.
Like curly hair, gorgeous. Yeah.
And at the time, that's really in Portland, that's where she started. She started doing local ads for, clothing and catalog work and things like that. And, it was making her some money, and she was doing pretty well.
She's the kind of girl who would have been on the cover of like American Girl. Oh my God. And like I would have wanted to have like been friends with.
Oh, 100%. I would have cut out her picture, put it in a scrapbook. Goals. At 16, she decides to move to New York to pursue modeling full time, even going on acting auditions when she gets there as well. So she's like, her parents are, okay with this, and they're like, sure, kick it into
supportive.
The next
It was
gear.
their dream.
80s, though. It was the 80s when like you could convince your parents to do shit like that, because it's like, look at the Runaways. Right. You know what I mean? In the late 70s, they were like 13. They're like, we want to be in a rock band. The parents are like, okay.
Bad decision on their
follow
part.
That guy. But yeah, that was where you could like drop out of high school and pursue your creative dream in the 80s.
She was like responsible.
Yeah.
And like, I think that they trusted her. Yeah.
I think that's the big part too, is that they really, her father is a child psychologist. So also too, I'm sure this was like, it wasn't like just sure on a whim. You're 16, go. There was, her modeling agent knew a woman out there who kind of took her under her wing. So it wasn't like it was by herself, but it was like she had connections. She had some people in contact with, and then too, she was a responsible girl, got good grades. They would have no reason to think that she couldn't be mature enough to do this even at 16.
Yeah, but to your point, Christina, nowadays I think it would be very difficult for parents to let go. Just the type of parenting that exists now is different. Yeah.
Well, I think beyond that point too, the shame that you would get from other parents to
like, you did what?
You let your kid drop out of high school and move across the country to be a model
to pursue. Well, I mean, as far as I knew, she was still doing studies, right? It was just like kind of like a tutor homeschooling situation.
It was like a children's academy there that was like, I think specifically geared toward people who were like models.
But still, the mommy groups on Facebook would roast the fuck out of you if you did that now.
Don't even have an account.
Just don't even sign on, actually. Like,
exactly. She received a short-term spot on Guiding Light before securing a 6-month recurring role on One Life to Live. So this really kind of started her acting career, because as she was doing these auditions, she'd been modeling, but the modeling stuff was not as, she wasn't performing in New York as well as she was in Portland. In Portland, she was perfect for catalogs and things like that. And really it was kind of, she was getting to this point where it's like, at 5'7",
she didn't really have a high fashion look. She had a adorable commercial look. Kind of look. Yeah. And I understand that as somebody who did print modeling and is 5'4" and would have loved to have been able to do like actual like fashion modeling. It's sometimes just just not in the cards for me or Rebecca Schaeffer.
I know. I always say it's because I'm 5'4". It's the reason I didn't get to model. It's the only
reason.
The only reason. I mean, if you've ever seen me, it's obviously because I'm 5'4". It's also, I mean, if you stretch me out to a good 5'9", I mean, I'd be way skinnier.
Also, too, these thighs would be just just stretched
out,
like
pencils.
Just Stretch Armstrong over here.
Yeah. So in 1985, because of these lofty modeling goals were not quite working for her in like high fashion, she ended up moving to Japan based on a recommendation because at the time they're American like. That look.
American look was exoticized over there. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like trying to spit that out. That's exactly right. So at the time there were a lot of American models going over to Asian markets because that was just a look that they really love. So she did do that for a short time. And after a little bit of success, she returned to the United States. In 1986, she secured a small role in the Woody Allen film Radio Days. And at 18, she landed her dream gig as Patty in the much anticipated return of Pam Dauber from Mork and Mindy, who was going to be the star role in My Sister Sam. Rebecca packed up, moved again across the country to Los Angeles. And so, I mean, imagine her parents are like, you've moved to New York.
Whirlwind 2 years. What an amazing, incredible adventure. I mean, to live in New York, to live in Japan.
And think about the kind of person who can do that at 16. Like it is a special kind of person who can, I would have
gifted,
loved the idea of doing that. And I probably would have if my parents let me go to New York, but I don't think I would have had that kind of success because you have to have this like drive and single-mindedness, like that's amazing. It's very impressive.
And a very serious level of intelligence.
And poise. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was even just watching, when I was a kid, I watched One Life to Live in General Hospital because my babysitter did, of course. So I therefore did as well. So it's funny to me because I'm like, I probably actually saw this originally at the time. It was like 1986,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
probably.
sure that I probably ended up seeing one of these episodes or something. And it's funny because they were showing clips from back then. And I was like, she's actually a really talented actress. And you can see that it comes across. And even though it's soap opera, you can tell like, she's got chops.
There are some people who also just have that like spark. Like we were talking about Sandy Bullock. Like there are just some people who have like, you can't put your finger on it, but when you watch them do something,
right?
Yeah, there's just, they shine. And she has that. When you watch her, there's just something about her, like she's glowing and radiant. Yeah.
There's an attractiveness to her, right? Like there's a draw.
Yes. And you can't put your finger on it. It's like, you wouldn't be able to articulate it, but like
just pull
it's a
in.
thing. Yeah.
She seems exactly like what we were mentioning earlier, where you're like, I feel like I could be friends with her. Like Sandy Bullock. You're like, I could be friends with that girl. Like she seems awesome. She seems really cool, which is great because she gains success based off of that. And people do see her that way. She becomes wildly popular. The show is a huge success. I mean, it is in a time slot that's right between, it's like right between two huge shows. So they're getting major coverage, and it's a hit show in her first year right off the bat. And on the 2020 episode, they described her too. One of the people who knew her was like, she was, their it girl. Like anything that they wanted her to do, whether it be an interview, whether it be hosting Thanksgiving Day parades, she was going to do to help promote the show. She was and she loved it. And she actually ended up when she moved to Los Angeles, staying with Pam Dauber. And Pam talks about it on the 2020 episode too. It's the most darling thing. And she's like, she was like, I felt like it was a really great idea because not only was this darling sweet girl moving here, had no place to go, come live with me, but also too, she's like, we could literally almost have that same relationship that we're going to be playing out
right
on roll and in this show in this kind of little sister way. So it was really, really sweet. And sorry. Oh, and because of her newfound fame, her fame grows, right? And she starts to get tons of fan mail. She wanted from the very beginning to be, more than ever just be there for her fans and reply. And she's young and she knows she's got these young fans reaching out to her, and she wants to respond to all the email or all these mail
Letters
that are coming in. I'm like, I don't know what we used to do back before email.
All these mails.
All these mails. All these letters are coming in from fans and who are supporting her. So therefore she in return wants to support them back. Eventually though, the mail becomes so overwhelming that she ends up having to hire a company to kind of take over this for her. And even on the advice of some people who were like, you can't write things to people. The one woman that was interviewed on 2020 was like, you can't respond back to people because no matter what you say,
it's never going to be enough.
It always is going to feel special. People can take things, like, oh, she's my friend now, and it becomes overly personal, and you can never over personalize. And that was, so
I was listening to one of my favorite beauty vloggers. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about, I think they're called like para relationships, and how actually weird that is. It's like the psychology term. And I know that we experience this on a much, much smaller scale, but it is strange when people know your life and like they know things about you and you don't know anything about them. And so you develop this one-sided relationship, and that can be strange, and it's a delicate balance to strike, because you do want to feel close to those people and you want to show them that you appreciate them, and you want to I understand where she's coming from completely. Like, you want to have a personal relationship with them.
Absolutely.
So I feel for her, because I would have wanted the same thing, I think.
100%. Yeah, I can absolutely relate to this, because I'm like, me as well. Back in the day, if I was young, 18, I can just see myself being that same person who's like, I want to be different. I want to be a celebrity that people feel like they can relate to and talk to and reach out to. And
that's what you would have wanted.
Of course.
Yeah.
But also too, I'm not going to go crazy and kill you. Yeah. I mean, and the other side of this too is, so, okay, she hires this company and so what she ends up doing is just signing a bunch of like these like headshots, and just with her name, and on a few of them it would be like a heart, and on maybe one of them it would be like a peace sign, and she'd write like little notes, like just nondescript, and it would just be like, yours is one of the best letters I've ever received, and like and these kind of just notations, like nothing that would speak specifically to what they were asking about. It's just mass produced stuff, right?
You reach a point where you really, what other option do you have? The amount of mail that she was getting.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, like,
I mean, and that was peak fan.
Still appreciated the fuck out of that. Because speaking of American Girl, in the back of every American Girl magazine, I was subscribed to it, they would feature like a female, like I think Lois Lowry, the writer, like there's like all these different people. There would be like a biography, and oftentimes at the end they would have like somewhere where you could write to them. And I wrote to like every one of them. I always did it.
Baby
and
Keegan, you're so cute.
And it made me feel so, like, looking back now, of course, I'm like, oh, these were probably like mass like letters they have made up already with like their signatures on them or whatever. But at the time when I got a letter back, it was like so exciting to me,
I think I told you guys the only celebrity that I ever wrote to was Dave Thomas.
Oh,
the founder
that's the
of Wendy's
fucking thing ever, and I love that.
I don't know how I forgot that, but that's
bless your heart.
I thought from watching the commercial that there was some kind of slogan contest, and I came up with a really good one, and I felt like I needed to write Dave Thomas.
I love it,
and he sent back a signed photograph of himself.
I love that.
And a bunch of Wendy's coupons, and it was just the best.
I want to know
thing
how
ever.
many people are writing to Dave Thomas that he needs signed photographs on the ready to send to people.
He's a goddamn Columbus icon.
Who is writing him? And what did his headshot look like?
I mean, it looked like an old man. It was a black and white photo of Dave fucking Thomas.
I want to see that. Please frame it and put it in a prominent place in your house.
I've got to see if my mom held on to that, because it was great. We had
fucking
Frosties
hilarious.
for like a year. He
Hell,
sent so many coupons.
Frosties are the
and
best.
guess whose Frosty machines aren't broken down?
Wendy's knows what's up.
Wendy's knows what's up.
Yeah. Have you ever had
fries and Frosty?
Have you ever had a fucking float made from Frosty? Oh,
no.
Mwah. Delicious. It's perfect, like texture. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Sorry. So Yeah. So, okay, moving on.
We're clearly starving.
Oh my God, we are so hungry. All right. So meanwhile, in Arizona, there's a man named Robert Bardo. He's watching television and sees an ad for an upcoming new show. He's watching like Remington Steele or something, he says. And he sees an ad for an upcoming show called My Sister Sam. This is the first time he ever sees Rebecca and becomes instantly enamored with her. He is, so a little bit about Richard Bardo. He's born the youngest of 7 children and had a very troubled childhood, even becoming, such a challenge in school that the school actually recommends to his parents that he seek therapy. And his parents are like, we're not putting him in therapy.
It's the 80s.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're like,
Nah.
Yeah.
And he's the youngest of 7 kids. So like, we can't afford.
Yeah, with what?
therapy.
With what money?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he was really a loner. He lacked friends and community and started to reaching out with fan letters. I mean, he didn't have a lot of friendships. He didn't have like people surrounding him. He didn't have,
And what were his 6 other siblings doing? Obviously they're like, that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, thank you. That's
Even
terrible.
they were like, no, you're a little
So
weird. I don't want to hang out with you.
It is sad. It is sad. I mean, because he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any community. He doesn't have people he can reach out to. And he's not seeking therapy. So he's not going to ever get better. You know?
And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard when you feel isolated, and it is easy to kind of create this like vast internal life for yourself, which I think is kind of what he started to do, you know?
Absolutely. And that's exactly what he's doing. He is recording every episode on his VHS of My Sister Sam. He finds every interview she's ever done. He finds every televised thing she's ever done and repeatedly watches these things.
Which, do you know how difficult it is to do without YouTube?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
fucking
God.
in the 80s, like what is he doing?
Is he going like microfiching shit? Like you have to,
He's in the local library, just
It's like, I know you guys have a version of this, right?
uh,
So, anyway, his lack of friends, all of that leads him to writing a bunch of these fan letters. He ultimately, is reaching out, writing her all the time. He feels connected to her because just like we mentioned earlier, she has this sense of like there's a real personable feeling about her. Like she feels like she could be your friend. And he picks up on that. He's like, I can relate to her. We're the same age. I see a kindred spirit in her, and he latches onto it. He's like, I can feel the connection through the TV. You're speaking my language. So
I have to say that obsession is one of the scariest fucking things to me. Like the idea that somebody could become fixated on you is so, I think I've said it before on this podcast. It's like in my top fears.
yeah.
'Cause
Also, if you're listening, please don't.
Please
We are
don't.
not as cool. Don't be your heroes.
Trust me. Like, listen, nobody wants to become obsessed with me. I'm not interesting
Not at
enough
all.
for that.
So boring. All right. He ultimately does receive a response from her. It's a headshot, and it has the phrase, "Yours is one of the nicest I've received," with a peace sign in her signature.
Mine is one of the nicest
So
that you've ever received.
He's like,
He's done.
He's like, this is her signal. She feels the same way. I've been writing her all these letters. She is sending me a signal. I have to go. Fuck watching all these movies on TV. I got to go see this bitch in real life. It's time. So basically, again, it's an auto response, right?
Right.
These reciprocated feelings to him are real. And
It's that erotomania that you talked about. Yeah.
Exactly.
He flies to Los Angeles. He buys her a big bouquet of flowers and this huge teddy bear. And he shows up at the gates of Warner Brothers. And he's like, hey, knock, 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 guard.
And guard was
Guard's
like, red fucking flag.
He does that face that TSA agent makes.
Yes.
He's like,
He's like, I'm friends with Rebecca. We are good friends. I'm in town. I came to stop by to see her. I brought her some gifts. She'll be expecting me. And guard's like,
Will she though?
I don't know. Let me call over. We don't usually let people on the lot when they're actually actively working. And so she calls over, or the guard calls over, and she's like, yeah, no, I am not expecting anyone. And no. So they turn him away. Well, he returns again the next day, very determined.
9-1-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amen.
Like day 2.
Yeah. And
Take
they're
your
like,
giant teddy bear and go somewhere else.
sir, we have told you this is not going to happen. And they even are like, it's very sweet, but you really need to understand that this is not going to happen. Right.
Well, and it's your place of fucking work.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing if someone showed up at an office building. It's like, this is where I fucking work.
I don't like it.
Don't show up anywhere.
And I don't know
first and
you.
foremost.
I don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you think about it, this is an easy way for him to find her because he knows that she's going to be on this lot. She has to work.
Right, but that's like such a red
It
flag
is.
to the guards because
Yeah.
it's just like if you were her friend, you wouldn't have another way of contacting her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is weird.
Also, too, think about the times. It's not like you got cell phones. It's not like you have, this is the 80s.
Yeah, but you should have her home phone number. She should know you're coming. Like if you're friends, like
Yeah.
Yes.
weird.
So many things.
Yeah. No, definitely. Okay. So My Sister Sam goes into its second season, and off of the, it's hit top, doing huge the season before. It actually is canceled in its second season. It's actually was moved into a noon time slot directly against Facts of Life.
Oh, can't compete with Tootie. You just
No, you absolutely cannot. And it's sad, but she is ready to move forward. Rebecca actively is searching now, though, for roles outside of this Patty image. She had auditioned for Pretty Woman, and they had said, you know what, you're just too cute. You're too girl next door. You're not
You're too
quite
sweet.
edgy enough.
Yeah.
you're too sweet nuts.
And yeah,
She was a sugar nut.
she's too much sugar nuts. They have already kind of put her in this idea of Patty from this role. And so her whole goal is to move away from this typecasting that's starting to happen because of being in that role. And she lands a role playing Diane Cannon in the movie or in the show End of Innocence. And she's landing a few TV movies, but her real break from character comes when she gets a role in Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. In this role, she has a sex scene and comes off a bit more promiscuous in Robert Bardot's eyes. So she's like now switching from this like girl next door, relatable, anybody could be my friend girl, to now kind of playing a role that to him is like, this isn't who you are. Why would you do this?
Right. Yeah, because again, he has this like internal life where he feels like he knows her and he feels like who she was in that show is who she is.
Yeah. And it triggers an anger in him that ruins his perfect image of that he has made of her. And so now instead of seeing this girl as this Madonna, she's now just a typical LA Hollywood whore, he puts basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's how it happens. It's, God, it infuriates me.
Around the same time, Bardot had read an article in People magazine about Teresa Saldana's stalker case. Teresa Saldana was another actress, and he learned from this article that he read that her stalker had found out her information by getting a private investigator. Sometimes too much information.
Yeah, the media's culpability in some of these things, if you want to really look, not just this case, but just in the way that they're putting out the information to get a good, salacious story, it's like you're putting people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
It's very irresponsible.
And again, this is the 80s, late 80s. So you're looking at, there's just no responsibility at the time. I mean, you think about that time. I actually almost did the Jerry Springer where the guy killed the girl. I mean, think about Jenny Jones and the things that were happening at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Salacious was the name of the game.
Oh, I mean, and it's still that way. I mean, look at TMZ, like the way that we feel like we are entitled to have access
and information.
I mean, and all that's not new. It's
it's always been that
penny
way.
Dreadful. You know, penny dreadfuls are always going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's so true. So he decides he's going to hire a private investigator to find Rebecca's address. He goes to a private investigator in Arizona, in Tucson, and for $250, this investigator will find address.
Motherfucking 80s. Just burn the 80s down.
Just
$250. You could just like
burn it down and start over because
wow.
Well, I mean, now you can Google somebody and find it for free.
Well, not a celebrity. You couldn't just go and Google a celebrity's
house
address.
You can probably do it
I
through.
guess you could just go on the Star Tour, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, okay, never mind. I'm not going to give.
I know. Now we're going to do exactly what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, what the private investigator did was all he did was contact the DMV and was able to obtain her information.
What? Who working at the DMV is like, this is fine?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
oh, you went.
What?
Who was it? Rebecca. Got it right here.
The actress Rebecca Schaeffer. What'd you need? Her home address? No
Perfect.
problem.
God damn it, Carol.
Absolutely.
That was complete. Carol definitely did it. Also, if you want to know where his brothers and sisters are, well, one of his brothers helps him buy a gun because the gun shop would not give it to him because they said that he had a history of mental illness and also he was only, I think, 19 at the time.
Oh, good on that gun shop, though, for actually, that seems rather responsible.
But they go back the next day, and so his brother buys it for him.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's fine. He just needs a gun.
Wow.
I know. Keegan's going to burn this place down.
Flames on the side of my face. Heaving.
So he does as well, writes another letter to, and this kind of a letter to himself, like that they talk about, kind of like a diary type situation. In this letter, he writes, "I need to destroy that which I cannot obtain." He's basically like, I've obsessed over this thing.
This fucking incel. Go fuck yourself.
I need
like,
to
honestly,
it.
What a piece of shit. Like, oh my God, the entitlement that.
Yeah, exactly. So he takes a Greyhound bus from to LA from Tucson, and on July 18th, 1989, Bardo found Rebecca's apartment, knocked, and showed her his signed letter. And after a brief conversation, she asked him to leave and not return. He went to a nearby diner for breakfast and returned an hour later.
Can we talk about how fucking terrifying that would be? Like, to open your door, your front door, where like you're supposed to be safe.
That was the 80s, so people still like came to your door or whatever. Because I'm like, if anyone, even if you guys like knocked on my door like unannounced or whatever, it would be like the weirdest fucking thing.
I was at home the other day and there was a knock at my door and I almost jumped like 50 feet. And it was somebody who was leaving a package, but I was just like, oh, like, we are not equipped for that.
No.
No.
But the reason Rebecca answered her door was because she had been expecting somebody to come to her door. She'd been expecting a script for Godfather 3 in which she was going to be getting a role in to arrive. So she opens up again as he returns an hour later, again expecting a script. And again, it's Bardo who pulled out his .357 handgun and shoots her point blank in the chest. Rebecca died 30 minutes after her arrival at Cedars-Sinai. Can you fucking imagine?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that she was I remember from the case file episode that she was like polite with him when he
Polite
first
but
came,
stern.
polite but firm. And so the second time that he came, she wasn't having any of it.
Yeah.
So she gave him fucking attitude, which she was well within her fucking right to.
Right, but that's not who it was at odds with who he thought she was. So I'm sure that enraged him as well.
Yeah.
Like, because this is not the girl that I love from my sister Sam wouldn't give me that kind of attitude.
But you put a peace sign on your signed.
I thought we had an understanding.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's wild,
So
isn't it?
wild.
To think about that's how someone thinks.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
someone
clearly. Yeah, there was something not firing.
Bardo was arrested in Tucson the following day after police were called to reports of a man wandering down the I-10. Marcia Clark was actually the lead prosecutor, and Bardo was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. I'm not going to give him much more talk time, but as a result of this case, new California laws changed basically preventing the DMV from releasing private information, and was enacted in 1994.
Why was that not a fucking thing already? That doesn't make any sense. But okay, well, whatever.
Also in 1990, her death also prompted America's first anti-stalking laws.
Oh,
Yeah.
In 1990, everything about like obsession and stalking, it frustrates me so much because
it's so out of control.
Even
you have
now,
no control.
and even nowadays, it's like they can't really do anything until something happens.
Right.
Like, honestly, even if she had called the police after the first time he came to her door, I guarantee you, I know how that
Nothing would have
conversation would go.
Yep.
They would say, well, what did he do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he came to my front
gave me the
door and
creeps.
he gave me the creeps. He showed me a picture and he tried to tell me that we had a relationship when we don't, and I'm just nervous about it. I guarantee you they'd be like, well, I mean, that's not against the law. They,
Ugh.
you know, it's just like,
Chills.
it's so frustrating and it's so sad.
It is
Yeah.
sad. And it is a really sad story when you look at somebody as bright and, you know, full of life and, you know, on the verge of a real burgeoning career. And, you know, it's always sad when anybody dies. I don't want to discredit, you know, anyone's death or that hers is more sad because she was famous. It's not. It's just that, you know,
We were let in. That's why we're able to experience that. It's not any more sad than anything else, but we, because of the nature of celebrity, you know, we were able to see, there's documentation of her brightness, of her star, you know, like there's documentation of it.
Yeah.
And so it brings it home in a different way because we are able to see it and we know about her child and we know she's an only child, and like, all of that stuff just makes its layers of devastation.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, yeah. Yeah. Whew.
Good
Good one.
one.
Very good one.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
So let's do a nice little palate cleanser.
yeah.
Some sorbet. A sorbet of shows we've been watching. Where
Oh, have I told you about this show called Marriage Story? Let me talk about it for 10 minutes. Totally kidding.
oh my gosh, call the midwife.
You're here.
Dude.
Welcome.
So-
We're over here with open arms for
Yes.
you.
So okay, about 2 weeks ago was the long week. We had the Digital Hollywood thing. It was also the anniversary of the separation and that sort of thing. And it also daylight savings gets
It's just
dark
like,
at 4:30, and I went down hard. It was like it's like somebody like hit me at the knees, and I went like down. Now I was bound and fucking determined to not have the year that I had last year, because I went down at the same time last year and I didn't get back the fuck up until after New Year's. It took me a long time and was really hard. It was not a good couple of months. And I was like, I'm not going to do that this year. So I have hibernated a little bit, but I was like, you know what? I need something that feels good. That is about
goddamn
love,
hug.
that has hope, that has just good people in it. If I'm going to be down, I'm not going to watch murder stuff.
Right.
I can't. I have got to have positive. And so I put that on. Holy shit, dude.
It is a warm hug.
Oh.
That show
loves you back.
physically,
It
yes,
does.
that show
It does.
physically does something
Yep.
that makes you feel like
It
physically warm.
unlocked.
Like,
and I did. It unlocked where I was like, oh, okay, it's okay to cry. And so I cried out. I cried for like a week.
Dude, it's
Literally.
a crying show, for Christ's sake.
Just a week of crying. And then I just started to feel lighter. Started to feel better. And I was just like, you know what? Like,
it's cathartic. Honestly, it
if
is.
This year I had 1 or 2 weeks of feeling down, and last year was 2 months. Like, I'm going to count that as a W. I'm going to count that as a
Absolutely.
win.
Yeah.
That's a hard capital W
Well,
right there.
especially because the real win here is that you were able to recognize what was happening.
Right.
You're able to acknowledge what was happening and find a way out.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's huge. Because when you're in a depression spiral, like, that's what makes it so hard, is that you literally can't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So if you are able to recognize your behavior and understand how to move forward, it's a huge win.
I just gave myself like permission to feel it.
Yeah.
I think like last year I tried to fight it and had this like I should be farther along. I should be blah blah blah. And I didn't play the shoulda game this year. And I was just like, I'm sad and that's okay. You
I'm
know,
allowed
and I
to
mean
feel
I'm
those
allowed to
feelings.
feel those feelings, and I've fucking felt them. And then watching like Call the Midwife, and yeah, like you said, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, I was just like, I felt a lot stronger than last year. And like, you know, I'm giving that trying to get those chummy vibes.
Oh God, bless America. I fucking love her
and
so much.
And Sister Evangeline, also my favorite.
They're all great.
They're all great.
They're all great. And I can only tell you that the show only gets like, it's always great. It's never not great. Yeah. And like, that show can trick you. If you are in a dark place and you're like, I need to cry because I'm sad, then you'll start crying because your heart is warmed, and then your body's confused because you're like, I'm doing what I wanted to do because I was sad,
but I'm also feeling warm. But
I feel
joy
feelings right now. Yeah.
I thought it was dead and a baby lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was not sure. My mom was the one who told me to watch Called Midwife, and as a defiant daughter, I guess I wouldn't classify myself that way, but I didn't watch it like for months. Like after she told me, I was like, yeah. And then one day I did, and I was like, this is why you listen to your mom, because
moms know best.
So if you're like, that show's not for me, you should go turn it on, because
you go listen to Tammy Cortez right now.
Yes.
Well, the very last episode that I watched, and I ended up tweeting this quote out, it just really hit me. It was from the woman that says it to Jenny Lee is the woman that survived the concentration camps, and Jenny Lee is going through her own like disaster at the moment, and she just says, you keep living until you feel alive.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, that is the most profound fucking
I'm
shit.
Cry right now.
I know, I'm tearing up right now.
I know exactly what episode you're talking about. We both are like at the same spot.
Exactly. Yeah. It broke my heart because I'm like, that's exactly what you do. And that is like what I'm feeling right now, getting through the holidays. It's like you just keep living until you feel alive. And it's so I love that show. So
Beautiful.
I'm so glad you're on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
feeling it.
I guess I know what I'm going to be doing this week is watching more Midwife.
Honestly,
I
me
know.
too. Yeah, me too. So I did watch the Great British Bake Off holiday specials. There's 2 episodes. There's 2. And oh my God. So you watched the first one, the Christmas one, because there's a Christmas and a New Year's one. And I have to say, Flo with those dentures.
God blessed teeth.
And she emptied an entire bottle of wine into a cake. A whole bottle. I was like, bitch.
We friends.
Queen.
Fucking cheese on it.
She's like an old lady. I was like, I fucking am standing low. Amazing.
Goddamn cheese. And he comes over and tastes it. He's like,
that is not good.
That's,
and poor Flo was like, I know that cake is good. I love that cake. I'm going to keep making that cake. And I'm like, we stand a queen.
Yeah,
okay. So, yeah, I mean, here's for British shows.
Yeah. Feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh, I also watched that. And we're now on season 5 of Castle. Castle, we've spent way too much money watching the show, but it is real fucking good.
Dude, Nathan Fillion is just
love him.
So fucking charismatic.
Yes. Talk about someone who has like an it factor.
Oh,
yeah. He's got
him.
this charm about him that is undefinable.
The number of, because I am a hardcore Firefly. I watched Firefly since the very first episode when it came out actually on television. Watched that shit. It was the angry person who, when it went away, I was the person who donated money when they wanted to make a movie. I did all that.
You're writing angry letters.
How dare you? Dearest producers. Dearest ABC Fox whoever. Yeah. No, so anyway, I love that show. I think it's real super good. So we're still on that. The number of the Firefly references that they make,
it's pretty cute
in Castle. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love the number of people who were from that show who guest starred on it.
Yep.
It's brilliant. How I have not watched that show until now is really stupid. And then also too, reading. We've been reading. We just read
Stocking Stuffers.
That's right. And it was
by Erin McClellan.
It will stuff your stocking.
It's something.
It's something.
So if you want to hear our review about it, you definitely want to check out Boobies and Newbies.
It is a Christmas themed erotic novella, and it is wow.
It is wowie, wow,
Yes,
wow,
go
wow.
listen to it should be coming out soon. I think at the beginning of December. Check that out for sure. We'll make sure to put it on our socials and everything else too.
It does have sugar nuts in it.
It does.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah. And also meaty ones.
Meaty nuts
There's
as well.
also meaty ones there.
So much. It's nutty, that's for sure.
I do want to point out before we end that we have a new design in our merch shop. So go check that out. And we will be hopefully doing something for Black Friday. We got to get that worked out with the store. But if that does end up going through, we will be putting it on all of our socials. So keep a lookout for all that stuff.
Oh, I'm so excited about the new design.
I am
It is
too.
the coolest.
I want it for
It's real
Christmas.
cool.
So yeah, if you want more details on our merch, more details on linking up with our Patreon, on Facebook, anything like that, go to our one-stop shop of website. That is myworstdatepodcast.com. We appreciate you listening to us through this holiday season. We've got more holiday date stories that we're looking for, so keep writing them in for
Please,
sure.
please.
We love them. And we love you guys so much. So thanks so much for listening.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.